Well, hi everyone. My presentation would be very different than the previous one, but I hope it will be as enjoyable. I come from a very different background. I started my career at computer science, spent some time in the intelligence unit, did a master and PhD in theoretical computer science. In '95, I joined Check Point, leader in cybersecurity, the pioneer in cybersecurity in Israel, as the R&D leader. And then I did R&D, product management, business development, M&A, some of the growing business units, and I actually spent 30 years in Check Point, leading it through the transformation of cybersecurity in Israel. And then, after 30 years, which is more than half of my life, decided to kind of find alternative routes, went back to technology transformation and joined the quantum space. And now we have a quantum-focused VC that is investing globally. So today, in the presentation, I'll try to combine some of my experiences with technology transformation, with the cyber industry in Israel, and with quantum. I'll start why I'm so excited about technology transformation. I think it really changed the world. We live longer life, we have less poverty, we are much more educated, people could be educated anywhere. I believe that a lot of this is powered by technology. And I think there are two ways to look at technology, something that is force multiply, that takes everything like you did before, just do it more efficiently and better. This is nice, but this is not so exciting. And there is a place where technology is a real transformation. It's changed something very different. An example for that, just from September, I don't know if you saw, you could Google this. In Albania, they have nominated a minister for purchasing, which is an AI entity. And they thought that an AI would be a better minister because it would save some corruption. I don't know what you think about it, but this is kind of, wow, this is like a Black Mirror episode. So this is a good example of transformations. So to tell you a bit about the background of this, Check Point was founded in '93, right at the time that Netscape was established. I joined Check Point in '95. We were a private company. We were like less than 20 people. We were publicly traded in the NASDAQ since '96, one of the more profitable companies in the NASDAQ. And with that, the whole industry of cyber industry and high-tech industry in Israel and globally kind of was established. So I had the fortune to escort this route through a transformation of an industry. So when I joined Check Point, the word cyber didn't really exist, and we are in a very different place today. So my presentation will take two parts. Part number one are some learnings, I could say, that are kind of commonalities to quantum, observations that I have. And part number two is where really cyber and quantum meet, which is in this kind of cybersecurity threat from quantum and its solutions. While I'll say that I joined quantum for the excitement of creating new spaces and not just for the cyber, I think there are observations in the second part that are important as well. So when you look at a transformation such as getting cyber security or getting quantum or doing AI or any one of these, there are many elements that you could go through, and they are very exciting. But one of the first observations that I'll give is that I've seen it happening multiple times, and that's kind of the really exciting part. You put very smart people together, you give them a mission that is hard, and they end up with super creative solutions and revolutions. So I'm sure we could make it. I'm sure that the quantum space would find itself in an exciting place. I still go through some of the elements that happens to be as part of this transformation. It's important to remember where we start. We start with something that we believe that could be transformal, solve the unsolvable, not just a force multiply, but solve something that was not solved before. We believe that the research and the engineering and the capability are in a maturity that could make this space work. We believe that some of the aspects, like cyber, get a fear factor or some other reasons that makes more people interested and pour more money into the space, which is good. And we believe that this is kind of an opportunity to also drive other spaces and improve other revolutions around us. If I try to summarize what does it mean to solutions in the quantum space, the first element is to define your value. And one of the interesting points for cyber and quantum is how do you validate your value? In cyber, it's not easy to explain how do I prove that I protected you. Same problems exist with quantum. How do I prove its scale? How do I prove its solution? How do I prove its effectiveness? The second point I want to talk about value is the power of the incumbent. There are many incumbent solutions doing things otherwise, even if they are less good, would still sustain unless you can really bring breakout value. So the value that you have to bring to your businesses has to be significant, not just 3 multiply, not just 10 multiply, something that is in the unsolvable space. The second part is the customer. You have value. Now you have to find who understands your value in the customer side. Who really understands the value, that's one, and who has the money to do something about this value. And you'll have very different go-to-market strategies if you understand these two personas and try to operate within them. This is a very important point to notice when you do, and it's not just about doing technology. Third point is about aiming to the future. You are coming to solve something that would be practically solved in the next years, and the years is with horizons. You need to identify the problems that will be important then, and not just the problems that are important now. This may sound trivial, but it's not trivial. The problems are changing all the time. Some problems are getting solved in different ways. Some behaviors are changing. I'll talk about AI in a second. And it's important to understand who can help you define what would be the needed value into the future. AI is there, and AI is changing everything. It changes the developer patterns, it changes the business patterns, it changes how do people know about your solutions. Even though you are in the quantum space and it may not be interacting directly with AI, AI does influence your ability to be as a business, and that's very important. So be aware of the things that are changing around you and orchestrate your business accordingly. This is something I think is very important to revolutions, and this is changing habits. This is a chart of ordering food from home in the US. There were all the technology tools forever, but then something triggered, and that was COVID. Once COVID triggered, everything came to be enabled, and the business was businesses that were ready for ordering food from home grew up significantly, and those that weren't were not there. This is an important chart because it means that you have to have the enablement to be there on time, and sometimes the trigger is not in your control. 2 more points before I move to the second part. Part number 1 is the importance of ecosystem. I looked up the statistics of the ecosystem of cybersecurity, and it took about 10 years from the point the Checkpoint was founded until there were really multiple VCs of entry-level technologies and other stuff in Israel and around us. And it took about 15 years until there were all the famous conferences, the advisories of CISOs, and the all activation of the very, very active ecosystem that we have today with cyber. So things may take long time. This conference is a very important event in this, but it's very important to leverage this ecosystem. This ecosystem enables you to scale. You still have to use open source. You still have to use other people's tools. Don't underestimate the value, the ability to build all of that in one place. And last but not least, we have enterprises as our customers and defense. There are common problems like, would I run it in the cloud? Would I run it on-prem? Do I enable you to use open source? Do I enable you to use which hyperscalers, etc.? These are all problems that are very common to the cyberspace. And I'll tell you, the reality is that at the end, if it's really important, people would consume it if it's easier through the cloud. And people will kind of accept the different hyperscalers. So people find solutions to all kinds of things, to the supply chain. They will threaten that there are some geography disconnects. But at the end, if your solution is excellent, then do the right thing for the business. Let it be consumed in the most efficient way, and it will work for you. The second part is about quantum and cyber. When talking about quantum and cyber, obviously I'm not going to do a presentation about RSA and how RSA is going to be broken by shore. I assume people in the audience heard it many times, and it's not interesting. So I'll try to give my spin about creating cybersecurity solutions for this moment of truth of quantum and crypto. I'll start it by reviewing the history. I'll talk a bit about hardware and software and what are the ingredients needed from a solution. So the first point I want to make, quantum is not the first time that crypto is changing. I've been in Checkpoint leading R&D and product 30 years. We change the crypto all the time. Why did it change? It changed because the standard changed. It changed because we broke the protocols. It changed because we broke the implementations. It changed again and again. We found hidden channel attacks. We found other ways to treat the crypto. It changed all the time. If you think this is the moment of truth for crypto, it was always static, and now all of the time it changes, this is not the case. This is not the reality today. It changed because of the technology that changes, the CPU power that changes. Moore's law increase the CPU, we increase the kind of the power of the crypto. It changed because algorithms have changed, and we found new solutions to do different things, to do advanced kind of breaking into protocol, finding common hits, etc. It changed because there were new paradigms like the cloud and the mobile that require different behavior of crypto, and it changed because security-driven changes, some of the attacks that happened and kind of woke us up in different ways, attacks in implementation, etc. There was also some changes due to the business, due to cost restrictions and stuff like this. But I think even just the technology part, there were many, many changes. So one could say, okay, so nothing changed. It's kind of the same agile crypto that was always. So what's the big deal here? You know, yes, there is another way to break our algorithms, but of the crypto, but it's not such a big deal. It is a bit different because with quantum there is a feeling that you could eliminate a whole class of solutions, and not only that, we could maybe anticipate that there would be another and another class of solutions that would be eliminated. So the problem is more fundamental and more scary. But don't come to it naive and don't say, you know, it's the first time that crypto is broken and now kind of we come and save you, because this is not the case. The second part is that with all this importance of crypto, I want to say that cyber problems exist all the time, and they were mostly not creating by breaking the crypto. They were creating by attacking the inside and stealing keys. It was created by stealing information in different ways. It was not created by stealing the information directly from the crypto in any time in the history. And so when you talk about security, you also have to understand that your solution of security doesn't come to address all the problems that the security personnel have on site, but only some of the problems. So yes, we need a solution. Crypto agility is needed. We would now review some of the solutions that exist not by name, but by concept. But this is not like the first time on Earth that this is happening. And take this into account when you bring, because there are some fundamentals that are important. So here are some of the fundamentals. Fundamental number one is that for the good part, there is a good buyer. If in quantum it wasn't clear who is the buyer, there is the kind of the professional entity, and there is the person that understands in quantum, and there is the IT, and there are many other people. Here, there are usually clear buyers. The CISO is usually the clear buyer. But even if the CISO tells you it's important, there is a very big difference between the importance and really I take money off my pocket and I'm going to buy it. Differentiate that because it's hard to notice that that there is a big difference between them. The second element is that there is a very strong power for the default usage or software usage or something. If it's going to be very simple to adopt some other alternative, I'm going to adopt some other alternative, and even more if security is good enough. So don't expect that you show that it's super duper security and it will address the needs of many. Many of them will adopt any security that will give, that will pass the bar, and specifically if it's software and it's bundled into the way they did things so far, it's going to be good enough for them. The last part I want to say is no one wants proprietary crypto. I had the discussion with multiple companies in the PQC space, and some people would tell me, I have this great algorithm, but I'll keep it secret because that's my secret sauce. That's no-go. People want only crypto that was examined by many. Nobody would take on their responsibility to buy any other crypto. So find a way, if it fits your model or not, it doesn't matter. Some proprietary crypto is not going to sell. Now I'm going to review shortly the hardware and the software solutions, just to give some feedback to each of them. So the hardware, which is QKD, first I'll say there is very good reason for quantum networking that is beside QKD. This is not in today's presentation, but I refer to QKD because it specifically addressed the cyberspace with quantum key distribution. The good news about quantum key distribution is that it really solved the problem in a fundamental way, not in a way that will be breakable in the future. And that's very important. But on the other side, it comes with a high cost. It usually comes with the hardware that it's hard to implement. It comes with the answer of it's a multi-layer solution. You'll have both PQC and you'll have QKD, and it makes things more complicated. So you are actually going to select sub-part of your audience. So even if you do good POCs today, measure your market size and see how you could increase it and how you could create more interest in your market size. If there would be a good solution for software that will supply my security from the browser to the bank, people would start to use the same thing for branches, and it will be good enough, and it will be the software, and it will be implemented. Last but not least, on the hardware, we said security is an end-to-end problem. You have to take care about all the problem. You can't just solve the problem that you can't eavesdrop on the channel. You have to also explain how you securely handle the keys and how you transform the whole communication. If I go quickly into the software, crypto agility is a must. As we said, crypto will continue to change. It changed all the time, and it will continue to change. The second part is the real value. Did you really fix it? Don't bring just visibility. Visibility is good for first stage, but it doesn't really solve it. And expect that there will be standards and open source. So make sure how you differentiate yourself in the presence of these tools. There are more opportunities along the way, like managing keys, etc. So make sure you have an holistic view on the solution. If I try to wrap up all the things that I wanted to say about cybersecurity solution, you have to find your focus. What are the vectors of entries that you're trying to handle? Who are the specific audience? What is the target market? It all has to have updatability because it's going to change. One point that I think is important that is not spoken a lot about is data at rest versus data at motion. The problem of managing data at rest with quantum crypto is even bigger, I think. We said security and simplicity. Customers will prefer simplicity for any cost, and there is a basic. Do it fast, do it usable, do it with security in mind. So I believe that quantum revolution is coming and that you have to have a plan. If you are a business here, you may not be able to predict exactly how it's coming and what are all the elements, but you have to watch it. You have to start experimenting with it today. and you should join kind of the revolution as it comes and identify how the revolution is affecting you. The second part, because the revolution is here, you could look at other trends. I'm very excited always to look at other trends. So I started to research, for example, a similarity to the VLSI market, to the GPU market, and there are all kinds of similarities and differences. Some of that has to do with maturity of market, leveraging the supply chain, leveraging the ecosystem, and understanding that there would be standards along the way, and there could be API connecting the different elements, and only when it's all mature, then you have a business at scale. I think that quantum end revolutions are super exciting. I'm super excited to join this audience and to collaboratively solve cyber and non-cyber solutions, solve the unsolvable. Thank you very much.